Do you know what the definition of ungrateful is? It's not showing or expressing thanks or being unappreciative of favors, gift, and kindness. Donald Trump just did something amazing, right? And first, let me say, I'm not a Trumper. I am not a Trump supporter, not a Democrat or Republican. I'm independent. But I gotta give praise to where it goes. Donald Trump and the Republicans did something amazing without knowing that they did it, right? And this thing go back, I would say, to my knowledge, 30 to 40 years, but it's been heightened in the last 10 years, right? And there's been, if you do not know what's going on, there's been a gender war, right? And men and women just stop dating and stop seeing eye to eye. And let me say this. This is specifically for heterosexuals. No offense to the LGBTQ community. This is specifically, I'm talking about heterosexual men and heterosexual women, right? There's been a gender war, and with the height of like feminism, I would say, and social media, it plays a part where women were, you know what I mean? The way some can say that it's been women started to be ungrateful for the presence of men, right? They become ungrateful for the presence of men to the point you see women go online and say, the world would be better if men just didn't exist. This is what women are saying, right? They were saying that from their phone that men built, in their house or cars that men built, in a city that men built, with safety that men provide, with police that's most likely men, and military that's men, and they just become ungrateful for the presence of men and everything that men do. And that, I believe, is what, because with given circumstances, they feel like they don't need man. And they will say that about, they say they don't need a man. They don't want a man. And at the same time, I would say 99% of these women, if not all, are saying this, being provided a luxury that men provide in some way, form, or other. Not just saying the phone and stuff like that, but saying like when they need help, they call a man. Some way, somehow, you know what I mean? And men, you don't see men saying that. You don't see men, there's never a man out here saying that they don't need women. Now, men will go their own way saying that they rather not deal with women, but they'll never say they don't need women. That's just madness, right? And you see the whole bear thing, saying that women would rather be with a bear, even though using the fact that there's been disgusting, dangerous men that did disgusting, dangerous things, but they are the one that would choose these dangerous men over a stable man and associate any man to the danger that man exude because they find him attractive, and they demonize men who they find unattractive, right? The chop man epidemic. You know what I mean? So they've been slandering man for the last such and such, right? And what Donald Trump did is the whole cutback on aid with WIC and housing and this and that caused these women to humble themselves and to say, you know what? Because if you don't know what government says, especially in urban communities, urban and low earning communities, I'm running up in a cop car right now. Low earning communities. You would say that that these women feel like, okay, whatever man provide, the government now will provide, and they don't need a man presence there, because now they got what they wanted, right? And you see, they got the house, they got a car, they got foods to help feed their kids, like all these stuff that they normally a man will provide if a man was in the house. They got from the government, and now the government is taking it back. And I personally been seeing a lot of these women out here coming back to the congregation, right, as you could say. Like they're coming to the congregation, and they're like, you know what, they're trying to, date again. They're trying, like, I've been seeing it for the last, you know what I mean, so and so. And I'm thankful for Donald Trump, because if you feel like you don't need men, you're never going to, like, you know what I mean, you're never going to ooh, it's nice parking right here. I got it. Let's see. So when you feel like you don't need men, that's what's going to go through your mind. You're going to feel like, with all these aids and this stuff, you're not going to value what a man brings to the table. And every time I turn around, there's a woman complaining about silly stuff, right? If you see remember the Pop the Balloon show, a woman will have a phenomenal man in front of her, right? A man that's well established, educated, the Pop the Balloon show, a man that has a good income coming in, and they will say, nah, they don't want him because he's shorter than her, or he doesn't wear socks with his shoes. Now, they'll find any simple thing to disqualify a good man, right? And now women are just starting to appreciate good men again, right? And it's crazy how far it will go, where they create a whole terminology called the ick. You understand? Like, they was with a good man, but the ick, they got the ick. Or you hear women say that they're just not feeling the vibes. Or the worst one, I hear women will break up with men because they have a good man that was very good to them and that was good for everything about them, but something just is not right. They're not being fulfilled, or, like, you know what I mean, all the stuff that they gained from the therapist to weaponize their ungratefulness, right, or disdain towards men. There's a rise of misandry, right? And I feel like the word narcissist, like, they're just weaponizing words now. And it's crazy because women were denying themselves dates, even though they want to go on dates. You hear women say they're too good for stuff like the Cheesecake Factory. Well, now that government's cutting your food stamps, I bet you would like that Cheesecake Factory now, right? I just saw some bottles roll out. Yeah, I bet you come back to the Cheesecake Factory now, right? I bet you will humble your shit now, right? Or they're not gonna go out unless I'm gonna say the wrong word, they get me banned. Unless they go to Ruth Chris, or, like, you know, the steakhouse, or, like, no, like, now they like, okay, this man can pay the bills. I had this coworker, she divorced her husband, and when she was divorcing her husband, all her friends cheered her, yay, you know what I mean? And after a few years after she divorced her husband, and she's working 2 jobs to take care of the household, she said she missed her husband. And she missed one thing about him. She says she missed the fact that he took care of stuff for her. Like, the money that she's worried about now to take care of the house, she used to have extra to buy herself a little bag, treat herself to some brunch, or, you know what I mean? Because he take care of the major bills. Women was talking about never going 50-50. You know what I mean? Because they didn't appreciate what the 50 was. Not because in their mind, the 50 that the man is bringing to the table, the government already gave it. So, F man, delete. You understand? So when Donald Trump did that, it's such a relief, you know what I mean, that, like, women are now appreciating the 50. The 50 is now appreciated again, right? And we needed that. We needed somebody to get rid of I would say not get rid of all, because some people do need his assistance. But you see girls out here taking trips, going on shopping spree, and then government assistance. You wonder how they can afford name brand or designer, and they have government assistance. They like, you know what I mean, their kids always in designer, and, like, you know, they always buy a new iPhone. Like, you know, you understand, they're just splurging on government assistance because they feel like you know what I mean, they have enough. And you have women that will purposely try to manipulate the game. You have women out here, I seen a woman saying that she have 17, like, I was exaggerating numbers, like 8 kids, and the government's gonna take care of it. It's just wild. It's just wild. You understand? And we needed to bring it back. Bring it back. Because it was going too far. And with this, I believe that, it's going to be beautiful for the future. Because when women start to be more grateful for men, we as men start to return back to the household. And as we return back to the household, the children benefit, the neighborhood benefit, the man and the woman in the family benefit, the whole society, everything benefits having families back together. We stop the hookup culture. We start marrying again. And if you don't believe me, do you notice that in the majority of people that's getting married are conservative? You understand? You want to live this liberal. The majority of the houses and families come from conservative. Even the LGBT, there's the conservative-minded people. So the people who voted for Trump are most likely to marry. The man who voted for Trump are most likely to have a wife. The man who voted liberal are most likely to have baby mamas. You understand? Think about it. Think about a man that voted for Kamala Harris. Does he have a wife or a baby mama? Or think about a man voted for Donald Trump. Does he have a wife or a baby mama? So you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage chasing this nonsense. And Donald Trump fix it back. You understand? Now I'm looking at it differently. When he say make America great again, you know what I mean? Does that mean the image is, because people are thinking about they always bring some racial stuff in there. Does it mean like family and homes again? Because in this economy, it's ridiculous. But when you have somebody there to actually help you, you know what I mean? We can survive. We can start investing and buying. And two minds is better than one, always. You understand? So now and it's two different perspectives. As long as we, you know what I mean, I understand why women are fearful of being around men. But what this is doing is bringing good men back to the table. Right? Because women are now appreciating good men. Because women were dating these thugs and these futures and all this stuff. But now that Donald Trump take away the wick, they're going to go for men with jobs. All these blue-collar men. I hear somebody like B. Simone saying that she would never date a 9-to-5 guy. I bet you date him now that you don't have these government assistants. Not saying B. Simone is a government assistant. But we have women that imitated that thought. I even seen a video where they were going around interviewing black girls, mostly black and Hispanic girls. And they were asking them, do you want a 9-to-5, a scammer, or a dealer? And they pick the scammers and the dealers. And I bet your mom's gonna tell you to get the 9-to-5 now. Because you know what I mean? This what we have right now, I say it goes back probably 40 years. It's been indoctrinated. It's been passed down from generation to generation, where now it's become so warped that people think that a man who works a job is a bad thing. Like, you understand? Like, a man who goes to work and come home is a bad thing. And they're glorifying criminals. Think about how to this day, women who was not alive when Tupac was alive still want to be with a Tupac. They still, like, women, like, what's my daughter's name? Can't remember her name. Not Jada Pickett's daughter. What's her name? Jaden Willow Smith was writing love letters to Tupac. This girl's right now that's like 20 years old. What about the good guy? Like, you know what I mean? There's so many girls that pass up on these guys in college, but now they're gonna realize that, there ain't no government safety net where you can explore these waste men. Donald Trump just fixed everything. Dating sites, we don't need that no more. Women is going to come up and they're going to be more grateful. They're going to stop looking at men as these worse than beer type figures. And you know what I mean? Thank you. Thank you. If nobody's going to say it, I'm going to say it. Thank you, Donald Trump. Thank you, Republicans. I'm not saying that yes, I understand there's children out there that need SNAP and WIC and government assistance. Yes, we do. But we need, because a lot of people are seeing it, we needed to pull back on it a little bit, because people are now abusing the system and becoming ungrateful for the presence of human being. Anyway, I'm sorry to put a little gap in the middle of the video, but I would like you to like this video, keep it pushing. I'll put more videos out like this. You know, the next video is going to be about she used to be a baddie.